Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming out today. My name is Jill Baker. I am Deputy Director of the Department of Planning and Zoning here in Washington County, Maryland. Thank you all for coming out today. We are here to kick off our census for 2020. For those who don't know, the census is done every 10 years. We try to get out there and count everybody, count them once, and count them in the right place. So the purpose of the census is several-fold. First of all, we do a lot of planning off of the census information, both through infrastructure, through nonprofits and things like that. It also has a pretty big impact on the congressional representation that we have. That can play a role in that. A lot of other things that we do here in Washington County. So we're really excited about this. Happy to kick this off. Kathy Marr is here with us today. She's going to give you a little bit of information about some of the nonprofits and where some of this funding goes for the census and why it's so important that we get everybody counted.
Good morning. I'm Kathy Marr, the Director of Planning and Code Administration for the City of Hagerstown. Jill and I have been working together on this effort to get the word out about the census and just to help demonstrate the importance of it, because we've been advised by folks from the census that the impact on funding to our community is one of the biggest motivators for people to be counted. And so in preparation for these kinds of meetings, I reached out to nonprofits in the area to find out, do they indeed get funding from the state, the feds, or trickle down through county and city that is based on demographics, the total number of people who live here, the poverty level of our community, that type of thing. And if you can think of an agency that provides a needed service to our community, then they are undoubtedly receiving the funding. The Volunteer Fire and Rescue Association receives such funding, Hagerstown Police Department, the library, the school board, the Community Action Council, Department of Social Services, you name it. Programs that our citizens really need are based on the demographics, that if people are not counted, it could have a detrimental impact on the amount of money that comes to our community.
So to help kick this off, we've asked our elected officials to join us here today to present a proclamation to the U.S. Census Bureau, officially kicking off today as Census Day. We are now 1 year out from the official count. So we're going to turn it over to the President of the Board of County Commissioners, Mr. Jeff Klein, and to the Mayor of the City of Hagerstown, Mr. Robert Brucci.
Thank you. Mayor, thanks for being here today. Would you like to open with a few comments before I begin?
Sure. You know, Kathy pointed out the fact that that a lot of our nonprofits utilize funding that comes from the federal, the state, and from you and from us. So it's important that everybody, you know, answers the census question. I know they're making it extremely easy. You can go to the library if you don't have a computer at home, and you can log in there and you can record yourself there. They've made it super simple. So that everyone can get counted and everyone needs to be counted. So if you're out there and you're worried about it, just please, you know, reply to the census, let yourself be counted and allow us to get the resources that we need in Washington County to help support you.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, to repeat, it's important to be counted. It could be as much as $1,800 per person over a 10-year period, $18,000 in funds that could not be directed to, perhaps could not be directed to Washington County, a much-needed resource, in addition to federal representation as we elected officials. Before I continue, I'd like to thank the representatives of the city for being here. Appreciate it. And to representatives from the county, thank you all for being here. Now, if I can continue, I'd like the mayor and I present this proclamation to Ashley, who's representing the Census Bureau today. Proclamation 2020 Census Kickoff, April 1st, 2019. Whereas the U.S. Census Bureau is required by the U.S. Constitution to conduct a count of the population to help shape the foundation of our society and play an active role in American democracy. And whereas we, the City of Hagerstown, Mayor and Council, and we, the Board of County Commissioners for Washington County, are committed to ensuring every resident is counted. And whereas federal and state funding is allocated to communities and decisions are made on matters of national and local importance based in part on census data, including healthcare, community development, housing, education, transportation, emergency services, social services, and employment, and much more. And whereas census data helps determine how many seats each state will have in the U.S. House of Representatives and is necessary for the accurate and fair redistricting of state legislative seats and voting districts. And whereas information from the 2020 Census and American Community Survey are vital tools for economic development and increased employment. And whereas the information collected by the census is confidential and protected by law. And whereas a united force from business, government, community-based, and faith-based organizations, educators, media, and others will enable the 2020 census message to reach more of our citizens. Now, therefore, we, the City of Hagerstown, Mayor and Council, and we, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, Maryland, do hereby jointly recognize April 1st, 2019 as the kickoff for the 2020 Census in Washington County, Maryland, and call on all citizens to join us in recognizing the importance of being counted in the 2020 Census message to reach more of our citizens. On behalf of the City of Hagerstown, Mayor and Council, and on behalf of the Board of Washington County Commissioners,